Hey everyone, today we're looking at the Corsair K100 RGB optical mechanical gaming keyboard. Released in 2020 by Corsair and retailing at around £220 depending on deals, discounts, offers and variants chosen. This puts it at the top of the price range for mechanical switch keyboards. There are currently two models of this K100 available. The one I've got in front of me today is the OPX, the optoelectric switches, and there's also a standard Cherry MX speed option. I opted for the OPX keys due to the 1.0mm actuation distance, as well as a guaranteed keystroke lifespan of 150 million keystrokes. Comparing that to the Cherry MX Speeds, which has the actuation distance of 1.2mm and only 100 million guaranteed keystrokes. To the average user, and I'm including myself in this category that wants to play games on a good keyboard, but also be able to use it for non-gaming purposes too, as well as someone who doesn't really tend to upgrade their peripherals very frequently, this keyboard ticks quite a lot of those boxes. So, let's get down to it and see what's in the box. So, here's everything that's included. Not a ton of wasteful packaging, which is good, quite minimally. We've got some replacement keycaps for the Q, W, E, R, A, S, D and F keys, as well as a handy tool for removing the keycaps that are currently installed. Next up is the leatherette palm rest. There's not really much to say about this. It is magnetic though, which is nice, so it clips under the keyboard and be easily detached and moved to a more comfortable and convenient position. We've got a couple of USB cables. This keyboard takes two to power, but does make up for it by including a USB port built into the keyboard itself, as well as some underside cable management. More on this later though. Finally, we get to the instruction manuals. Again, quite minimal as with the rest of the packaging, nothing unnecessary, which is great since, let's be honest, most of this is just going straight into the recycling anyway. Here's everything unwrapped and ready to get connected. So this is my first keyboard upgrade in I think about 8 years. I wouldn't describe myself as a power user by any means, but I still want something that is going to perform well, last for a long time and be comfortable, as I mentioned earlier. The leatherette armrest, I've opted to show it connected here, but when I'm actually using it, I tend to move it a good couple of inches away from the keyboard itself. That's where I found comfortable for me, and having that freedom and flexibility I find really, really great with this keyboard. So a quick keyboard overview. In the top left you can see the circular scroll wheel, profile change button and scroll lock to help prevent accidental mode changes. The top right houses system, volume, vertical scroll bar and audio mute button. You might also be able to see that I've actually plugged my Corsair gaming mouse into the keyboard itself, and that's due to the keyboard taking two USB ports to power it in my desktop. The fact that they've built in a USB port to the keyboard itself, I think that's great too. You're not actually losing a USB port. The mouse is closer to you, so your cable isn't stretched behind your machines. And with the underside cable management, it actually keeps a lot of the spare cabling out of the way. Now the construction of this keyboard, we've got a plastic underside with a nice heavy brushed aluminum top plate. Despite the plastic, it does feel solid, it does feel well built. It is heavy though, the package weight coming in at around 2.2 kilograms. This keyboard isn't designed to be moved around often realistically, so if you're looking for a keyboard to take with you to events or when traveling, maybe look at something like the K65 Mini, that might be a better option. For me personally, the keyboard weight isn't an issue. It's going to stay fairly fixed on my desk. It's not really going to be moving around so much, and I actually really like the weight of it. It feels premium. It feels like what you want from a high-end product, which is exactly what this keyboard is. Moving on to software. So there's two pieces of software really needed to make the most out of this. Firstly, we've got iQ, Corsair's standard peripheral management customization software. If you already have a mouse, headset, or any other Corsair peripheral, then you'll most likely already have this installed and it just works out of the box. Secondly is Stream Deck. This is normally used for controlling those Elgato Stream Deck peripheral devices. However, it works in conjunction with those G keys that you saw earlier on. This software, as you can see on the screen now, you change what each of those keys do. They link with quite a few existing pieces of streaming software or system settings. I've currently mapped mine to be stream related, things like switching scenes in Streamlabs OBS, and one for even starting and stopping screen recording, which actually makes capturing footage a lot easier. But you can add new mappings and customize mappings just by dragging from the options on the right to the button on the left. You can see here I've added a browser source to demonstrate. You just give it a quick name, optional as well. Tell it the URL to open and try it out, and it just works. I honestly can't complain that much about this keyboard. I've had it for a few days now, and I did all my research ahead of buying it. It looked and had the functionality that I wanted, in the form of those macro keys and the Stream Deck integration. I'm a fan of the RGB anyway, and the bright customizable lights really shine through, really look great. So one thing I have noticed is that the keys are sensitive. Coming from a non-mechanical keyboard to this mechanical keyboard, especially with those OPX switches, sometimes just resting my fingers on the keys will be enough to actually trigger a key press, which isn't a huge deal, but it's something that will catch you out once in a while until you're used to using it. Overall, I love this keyboard. It does exactly what I want straight out of the box, with only the installation of Stream Deck as that extra step. Gaming with this keyboard is great, it's responsive. I can't say for certain whether it's improved my actual gameplay abilities, but it's definitely a lot more comfortable than my previous keyboard. Would I recommend this keyboard to you? If you've got the £220 spare, you haven't upgraded your keyboard in a while, and you also like full-size keyboards, then sure, this is a great product. I think you're unlikely to get something better with the same build quality for the price. But at the same time, that price is high. There are just as good offerings at the lower end. You know, the K65 Mini, for one, is a really good option for those looking for a smaller footprint and still getting that mechanical switch functionality. Alright, look, I know this was quite a short review. If you'd like to see me do a follow-up of this, then please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and comment with your thoughts. It would be really helpful for me to understand what you want to hear about from these sorts of product reviews. Things that I might have missed, things that you want to hear about specifically, and I can also look to do a sort of follow-up to answer any questions that come in, especially if there's a few people asking the same things. Anyway, for now, if you want to see more of my content, tap that subscribe button. Again, that really helps me out. And at the same time, if you want to see how I'm getting on with this keyboard live, I'm streaming regularly at twitch.com/soaringearth. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.